So you've heard me refer to outliers probably a few times, generally when talking about skewed distributions. But in statistics, an outlier is a data value that is unusual in that it differs quite a bit from the other values in the data set. Often we can just look at a dot plot or a histogram or even a box plot and tell that there's probably outliers involved if you've got a number or data points that are really far off removed from the rest of them. And there's a couple of reasons why we might have outliers. First of all, it could be an error in the data that results from data collection or the data entry process. For example, if you are polling the class on how many pets everybody in the class has, or you know what, let's go with siblings. If you ask the class how many siblings everybody has, and in your data set you come across a -2, that's probably an outlier from a mistake. That probably shouldn't be there. There's no such thing as negative people. There are negative people, but not in the mathematical sense of being negative. The other way that you might end up with outliers is results in your data might represent unusual values that actually do occur in the population. If we're talking about how much money people make every year, Elon Musk does not fit in with anybody else really. He makes a lot of money, like so much money that his number would be so far and above and removed from anybody else that you would look at it and say, wow, that's a weird one, if you were looking at a dot plot. Outliers can reveal cases worth studying in detail or errors in the data collection process. In general, they should be included in any analysis done with the data. However, if you know for a fact that it was a mistake, like -2 siblings, you can take it out of the data set, and there shouldn't be any problem with that. So there is an actual mathematical way of determining whether or not something is an outlier. And what you have to be able to do is figure out what Q3 and Q1 are, and then take the IQR. So a value is an outlier, mathematically speaking, if it is more than 1.5 times the interquartile range greater than Q3, or more than 1.5 times the interquartile range less than Q1. So what you're going to do is you're going to take 1.5, you're going to take Q3. First you find the IQR. That's Q3 minus Q1. Once you find that, you take 1.5 times that IQR. Okay? And what you're going to do is whatever that equals, you're going to take that number and add it to Q3 and subtract it from Q1. And you're going to get boundaries. It's like fences around your data set. And beyond that is outliers. Okay? You got outliers over here, and you got outliers over here. This one, so this is what I mean by you can look at a box plot and pretty reasonably see that there might be an outlier here because of how long this part is sticking out to the right here. Now we can't determine that for absolute certainty, but what we can do is we can do a little bit of math. If we find the IQR for this data set, multiply it by 1.5, we can add that to Q3, take it away from Q1, and that'll be our limits. Now, the other nice thing is if you're doing box plots on Desmos, you can actually click on this little box that says exclude outliers. And what it did was, going from here to here, this top data point, this 102, got left out. It still shows it as a little open circle there, but it'll leave it out when we take a look at the actual box plot that it gives us. In this case, though, this came from words per minute, typing speed. If you look at all the numbers, they're all kind of in this range, but we got this one right here that's 102. That is an outlier, but should we remove that from the data set? Probably not. That probably just means that there's someone who can type just a little bit faster than the rest of the class. That was me, by the way. I'm pretty good at typing. Anyway, I hope this helps. When we take a look at this, we already know the mean, we know the standard deviation, we know Q1, the median, and Q3. What you need to do is find out if any of those values could be considered outliers. Explain your reasoning. Show me mathematically how you know it's an outlier. Find the OIQR. Multiply it by 1.5. Add that number to Q3. Anything bigger than that, it's an outlier. Subtract that number from Q1. Anything less than that, it's an outlier. And then be real careful with number 2. Read it very carefully and then try to answer it. If you have any other questions, let me know. I'm here to help.